Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's May. It's fantastic outside, right?
Is that
Yeah, little wet, little white, little wet.
I just have these blinds are closed right back there, everybody. I just don't like looking outside. I'll look outside in like tomorrow. It's like tomorrow. No,
yeah?
it's all good. Welcome to another Calgary Real Estate Show. And we've got our April market wrap up. Natalie has some absolutely epic things to show us today. And so let's get right into it because we've got a lot to cover. And we did have a technical glitch, so we'll be going to some PDFs outside of our normally customized stuff we have here. So let's just quickly go through the weekly stats. So big jump up in new listings. Solds also really strong this week, 123% sale to new listing ratio. Pending's down to 517, which is the lowest it's been in 5 weeks. Days on market, pretty similar to what we've been seeing, right around that 20 mark. It's kind of been a low of 18 and a high of 23. And our active and pending just bumped up over 2,800. So Natalie, let's go to you. Tell me what happened a year ago.
Okay, so last year we had 734 sales. This year 684, so it's still down 7%. New listings 761 last year, 835 this year, and that's up 10%. Active listings last year were 3223. This year 2768, so still down 14%. Pendings at 914 last year, 701 this year, so down 23%. Last year days on market 24, this year 20, so it's down 17%.
Awesome. Jaden, what's going on in the mortgage rate world?
Yeah, not a lot of movement there, especially on the variable side. You'll see that in that unconventional, the fixed unconventional at the very bottom there, which is what we would call uninsurable. So you're doing a refi, 30-year amortizations, that kind of thing. There is some incredibly aggressive pricing there right now at that 499 and 514 on a 3-year. So that's not market. That is one lender kind of jumping the gun and trying to build up some market share where the market is where it's at. So still some good deals we had out there, even though the bond market is going in weird directions. But the interesting thing I want to talk about this week is Tiff Macklem, for the first time, has talked about the possibility of lowering rates, and he was speaking to MPs and talked about he sees a future where rates are going to be lowered. Big expectation is at this June meeting that the first rate cut will come, but it's just interesting that there's something going on in the economy that they obviously don't like, because he would never say that unless he thought that we were going to have to aggressively start moving there. And the thing that's going on in the economy that they don't like is GDP per capita. You might have seen the GDP numbers came in the other day, slightly lower. Seems like we're growing. The problem is our population is far outpacing the GDP growth. We are at negative GDP per capita growth, and that's not good for an economy. We're pushing towards a recession, and that will show us a little bit of a rate reversal over the next 6 months. We're going to start that process.
Very interesting. We'll keep an eye on that, and yeah, let's hope that starts happening by summer at least. That would be great. Hey.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so coming up, we will wrap up the April market stats. But before we do that, Natalie, please do explain.
Month end edition. This is a wallpapered console table. That is so funny.
Oh, sorry. Let's go back.
Yeah, that's wallpaper. It's not an actual console table. Anyway, moving on. I don't know how you're supposed to park in this house. It's like off the ground. Anyway.
Oh yeah, there's a garage up there. You know what I bet that is? I bet you that's like a house in North Carolina or South Carolina that was brought there because
moved. You can sort of see the foundation there on the bottom, but it's like, oh my goodness. Anyway.
That is crazy.
Check out the mismatched tile. Right in the middle.
That just hurts my brain.
I know, exactly. This one I love. Somebody, I don't know what they did. They were cutting with a Sawzall trying to get in there. Didn't do a very good job.
And tell people where you get these photos.
Well, it's from an Instagram account called Please Hate These Things.
Okay.
I get some of them from other sources, but this
right.
Site, it's hilarious. And I love this. So you got a cooktop on the top, you've got a dishwasher underneath, and your kitchen table is right there. So yeah.
That's efficiency.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
Or a code violation, one of the two. I'm not quite sure
why. A lot of violations right there. So that's all we've got.
All right. All right, we're going to take that off. We had some technical issues, and so we're going to go more to our standard PDF that this Calgary Real Estate Board gives us. Give me 1 second as I switch up here. All right, so this is just going to be a little bit more janky than it normally is, so my apologies, but all righty. So overall, like in April, we saw more of what we saw in March and what we've been seeing throughout the rest of the year. So this is what we really want to zoom in on. Let's see if I can make that bigger. No, that's all it's going to do. All right, so I'll just talk this real quick. So overall, the residential price went up almost 10% year over year. And I'm going to tell you, when I was doing all this and it didn't save, every single segment from Airdrie to Okotoks to Cochrane to Calgary saw a month over month increase. And I think that's almost like more important if you're buying right now, is the month over month increases, right? Because as like you're talking to Jaden and you have a pre-approval for 600, well, all of a sudden that 600 is now 625 or whatever it might be. The one segment that didn't see an increase month over month was Airdrie apartment condos, and they still were like 25% up year over year. So detached homes in Calgary, just because there's so limited supply, like under $500,000, there's just no supply in Calgary of detached homes. Although the supply over 700 is much better, but that even meant a 13% increase. And sorry, it's something blocking. Row prices up 20%. To 458.1, semi-detached up 660 to 668.4. That was up almost 13%. And again, I'm going to have to go to this other PDF here. This is called Adapting on the Fly. Apartment prices up 17, almost 18% to 346.2. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's happening with prices. Sales are up 7%. New listings up 11, almost 12% there. But inventory was still down 16%. Year over year. And then if we look at our months of supply, it's less than a month. So let's think about that. For a city our size, it would take less than a month, like 25, 26, 27 days, if no more inventory hit the market for the existing inventory to get eaten up. So that is pretty crazy. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to talk through the bedroom community. So let's just remove that. Just because Okotoks is on my screen first, I'm going to go there. So overall, prices were up almost 8%, detached up almost 9%, row prices up almost over 17% in Okotoks. As we talk about often, row is it's like the closest thing to a detached, right? Like price-wise outside of semi-detached, but that's kind of like the next best option for a lot of people. Yeah, semi-detached up 14%, apartments up 7.2. Their sales are up marginally over last month, or over last year. New listings up 14%, inventory up 9%, and months of supply at 1.11. Now let's go to the next community, which is Cochrane. Cochrane overall price went up almost 11%, detached up 11%, semi-detached up 12%. Row prices up 11% and apartment prices up 13, almost 14%. Sales were actually down 21% in Cochrane. New listings though up 12%. So that maybe creates, when I was going through this, what really struck me was, if you're open to a bedroom community, Okotoks, Cochrane, Airdrie, especially Okotoks and Cochrane, there might be a little bit more opportunity there as a buyer, and prices are generally a little bit less as well. They have a total of 130 new listings, which was up 12%, inventory up 1.4, so basically the same as last year. Months of supply at 1.6, right? So just a little bit higher than Calgary. And then in Airdrie, very similar to the Calgary story, quite honestly. Total price up 10%, detached up 12%, semi-detached up 12%, row up 17%, apartments up 25%. Again, that was the only segment that I saw where prices decreased month over month. Sales in Airdrie up almost 19%, new listings up 27% year over year. So there you go. There's a little bit more inventory hitting the market. But when we get to months of supply, because our total inventory was actually down 12%, months of supply 0.79 in Airdrie. So very similar to Calgary, right? Where there's just not a lot of supply based on the amount of listings on the market. So there you go. Sorry about the lack of visuals today, but and then Bill says, "Ha, nice sync." So yes, just going back to Natalie's.
Oh, thanks, Bill.
Natalie's, yeah, that was great. So what does this mean? We always like to wrap these monthly wrap ups up with this. Natalie, give us your thoughts. If you're a buyer right now, what is your best suggestion for buyers?
I think it's to have reasonable expectations. I think that's a big one. There, you got to get in, and you got to get in quick if we find something that's fitting to your criteria.
Yep.
It's frustrating. Like, we as agents are checking every single day, multiple times a day, to see if there is a listing that fits your criteria, and letting you know about it, because sometimes people aren't checking their auto emails, that kind of thing. And I think just having some patience. Personally, patience is a big one, because it's not just going to get a flood. And yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, I'm going to add one thing in there. We talked so much about pre-approvals, and that's why it's great to work with somebody like Jaden, because we can be in constant communication with him. Like, hey, Jaden, we're going to look at something that's a little bit above their or what we expect to be above their max budget because of the way the market is. What we're going to have to offer over listing price. Can we, is that something doable for these guys? So we can be quick, make decisions quickly, or you as the buyer can make decisions quickly whether you can actually go look at that house or not, right? Because the last thing we want to have you do is fall in love with the house that you can't buy. And then for sellers, we have one seller right now we're working with that's also buying. You need to find something first, right? So that's a little bit more of the challenge, unless you're in a position where you can sell first and live in your trailer for the summer, which I think would be fantastic, actually. Yeah, that's like totally up my alley. But you got to weigh out the pros and cons, right? Do you need to buy first? Do you need to sell first? What is your individual financial situation? We have clients that are moving back up to Sherwood Park, so they have an offer on a place, and now we're going to list their place coming up this week in New Brighton. So if you people out there in no social media land know somebody looking for an amazing triple car garage on one of the biggest lots in New Brighton, it's coming up about a week from yesterday.
Yeah.
And Jaden, what I know you see a lot because you deal with a whole bunch of realtors. Give us your final wrap up here on April and your best suggestion to, let's say, buyers out there right now.
Yeah, two things. Don't worry about those rates going down over the next 6 months. If you find the house, now is the time. I think the stats show for themselves. You talk about the month over month. You're not saving money by waiting and getting a lower rate when the house has gone up by $25,000 6 months from now, right? So that's number one. And number two is that if you are a well-qualified client that comes to me with a full package and we've talked about things, we can have conditions extremely short. So if you need a 2-day condition set in order to win the offer, we can do that. It's going to restrict your options, because not every lender can do that right now, but that's something that we can definitely do for you. So if you are in that situation, make sure that we're working together as closely as possible to be prepared.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice. And I love, just to end it with this, like, if you wait, and we've been saying this for a long time, and you can say whatever you want, troll me in the comments, but we're seeing it month over month. We're seeing significant price increases in every single segment outside of apartment condos and Airdrie, and that might have been a blip, right? So the longer you wait, what happens when interest rates come down? Do we see a flood of inventory hit the market? Maybe. I think that would be, I won't say foolish to assume that would happen, but at the same time, I don't like seeing buyers getting caught where all of a sudden they now have to go down a segment, right? Mm-hmm. Like go from detached to semi-detached because the prices have gone up so much and they've waited. I know one client in particular, as we kind of go on a little bit here, but I just wanted to mention this. He unfortunately decided to sign a lease because I'm not sure why. I think it was a little bit interest rate related. He's going to come back into a detached market in the areas that he's looking in. I'm going to say at a bare minimum, $50,000 more, and in some cases, $75,000 to $100,000 more than if you would have bought last year.
Yeah.
So don't mean to be a doomsday guy, but that's the reality of it, right? So you just have to weigh the pros and cons for you. and then we help you out, whichever, if you're looking today or if you're looking in 3 months or a year from now. So that is about it. And go Wranglers, go! We got playoff hockey in Calgary tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, and boo Oilers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the snow melt, and we'll talk to you all in 7 days.
Guys.